So I've got a bit of a secret about the law of reverse effort that I want to share with you. And this will hopefully help you make sense of what's happening on the court when you are trying a bit too hard, when you can't quite relax into the game and allow your natural game to just flow through you. And this comes from an analogy actually for writers. And so you've probably heard the term writer's block, right? When a writer sits down and wrestles with the blank page and nothing comes out, and they say they have writer's block and they can't write. Well, the analogy that I just came across is that writer's block. This actually comes from a musician named Maggie Rogers who writes songs. And she said writer's block is simply your inner critic becoming too loud. In other words, as these people are trying to write, they are judging and criticizing and editing themselves as they're trying to write. Sort of like if you're driving with one foot on the gas and one foot on the brake, you can't go nearly as fast and you're going to have stops and starts and it's going to wear out the engine and so on and so forth. And so this concept of the inner critic becoming too loud applies directly onto the court as you're playing. If you are constantly judging and analyzing your own performance as you're playing in the same way that a writer is judging and analyzing how good what they're writing is, they're not going to be able to write nearly as smoothly, right? So when you are playing and you're saying, oh, I don't know if I should make that move. I don't know if I should make that pass. Should I take this shot or should I pass the ball up? And all of these judgments and criticisms internally that are going on, or even on a larger scale, like, oh, I'm not playing well. I need to score this many points at the end of this quarter. And how am I ever going to achieve like all of this stuff that goes on? I wonder what so-and-so is thinking about me. This is the same thing, your inner critic simply becoming too loud. And so you have the basketball equivalent of writer's block. You are literally blocking your own performance from coming to the surface. And so the cure for writer's block is actually to there's this technique that writers use where they sit down and they just write anything that comes to mind. And this has been called like morning pages, I think, in the past, or some people call it the brain dump. We've had deep game players actually go through this exercise, and you sit down and you just write stream of consciousness style, anything that comes to your mind, and it clears away this blockage. And eventually what happens is you kind of clear all the gunk out and good stuff starts to come to the surface, and you can edit it later. But the more that you write just simply stream of consciousness style without judging and criticizing and analyzing and editing yourself as you're doing it, the better that writing is going to turn out, actually. And the same goes in basketball. The less you are judging and analyzing and criticizing yourself in the moment, and the more you just allow yourself to play however you play in that moment, the better you're actually going to play. It's funny how it works. The less you are afraid to do the wrong thing or afraid to make a mistake, the less mistakes you're going to make, and the less often you're actually going to do the wrong thing. So it's this paradoxical nature of the law of reverse effort. The harder you try to play well, the more difficult the game becomes. The harder you try not to make mistakes and you criticize and analyze and judge and edit yourself as you're playing, the more likely you are to actually make the mistakes that you're so worried about making. So take a page out of the writer's book, okay? Writer's block is your internal critic becoming too loud. And basketball block, when you're blocking the skill that you know is inside of you, is the exact same way. It's your internal critic becoming too loud. So let all of that go. Allow yourself to actually have the freedom to make mistakes in the same way that the writer may write the wrong thing and he'll delete it later on. That's okay as long as he's actively writing and allowing it to flow through him. Allow your game to flow through you in the same way. Hey, it's Taylor. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. And if you did, the best thing to do right now while it's fresh in your mind is to head over to deepgame.com and join us in our free masterclass. Now, this is where you'll learn all 8 laws of the deep game and all of the fundamentals that you need to know about the part of basketball that's played with the mind. We've had players call this the best hour of basketball learning of their lives, and it's completely free right now. So head over to deepgame.com to join us, and I will see you there.